Hello everyone, welcome to Assist Biology. In this video, we are going to discuss about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And from this chapter, we will discuss the second part, that is microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. I have already uploaded the first part of the video. If you have not seen the video, I will upload the link in the description box. Before starting, let me introduce myself. I am Ashish Kumar Das, a student of MSc Animal Biology, University of Hyderabad. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for getting more updates. Now let's get started. So what we will learn today, we will discuss what is microsporogenesis and what is pollen mother cell. We will see this. Then we will also see how the process of microsporogenesis occur. We will see microgametogenesis, what is microgametogenesis and how it is different from microsporogenesis. Then what is pollen grain, what are the characteristics of pollen grain. Then the commercial importance, how it is beneficial, we will see for industrial purpose or for commercial purpose. Then we will also see what is megasporogenesis and megagametogenesis. Now first of all, microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis is the process of formation of mature male gamete from the pollen mother cell. So first of all, what is pollen mother cell? It is a cell in a sporogenous tissue. Cell in the sporogenous tissue, that is the tissues having ability to give rise to spores. As these tissue have ability to give rise to microspores, the process is called microsporogenesis. And what happens in a single or from a single pollen mother cell, there are 4 microspores can be formed, or from a single pollen mother cell there will be 4 microspore, because meiosis will take place, and from a single diploid microspore mother cell, that is pollen mother cell, there will be 4 microspore. They are called as microspore tetrad or pollen grains. Okay. Then what happens from the set of sporogenous tissue, or you can tell a group of sporogenous tissue, some of the cells utilize their ability or utilize their potential to form pollen grain and differentiated into pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. So every sporogenous tissue or every cell in a sporogenous tissue is having ability to give rise to the microspores, and from these only some of the cell will use this potential at a time, will give rise to pollen grains. Now microspore mother cell divide by meiosis to form 4 haploid cell that are called as microspore tetrad. You can see in the diagram, this is the microspore mother cell, this is diploid. Now meiosis 1 will take place forming the microspore dyad, and meiosis 2 will take place forming the microspore tetrad. So here there are 4 microspore and they are arising from microspore mother cell. Now the microsporogenesis process, what happens as the anther mature, what happens, the microspore dissociate from each other and they develop into pollen grain. So 4 pollen grain will be formed from a single microspore mother cell, and the microspores divide by mitosis. This is important term, you have to remember this. Microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell divide by meiosis, and microspore divided by mitosis, forming a large vegetative cell and small generative cell. This is occurring due to asymmetric division. Okay, asymmetric division. Then what happens, you can see here meiosis 1 is taking place, microsporocyte or microspore mother cell. Now this is 2 cell meiosis 1. After meiosis 1, now this is 4 cell structure. This is the tetrad, you can see here. What happens after the microspore being released, they divide asymmetrically, that is forming 2 nucleus, vegetative nucleus and generative nucleus, and this is followed by cytokinesis. Okay, and now the vegetative nucleus, generative nucleus is different. You can see here, after this formation of the generative nucleus, the generative cell divided by mitosis again to form 2 sperm cell or 2 male gametes. We will see this. Then what happens, the microspore after dividing by mitosis forming the large vegetative cell and small generative cell, and it develop 2 layered wall, or the pollen grain develop 2 layered wall. Outer is exine, that is made up of sporopollenin and intine. Outer is the exine, inner is the intine. It is made up of cellulose and pectin. The chemical nature is cellulose and pectin, and the for exine the chemical nature is sporopollen. You have to remember this. Then what happens? The pollen grain are released from the flower, that is being shed at two cell stage, that is in one is vegetative cell, another is generative cell. However, in some plants the generative cell divided mitotically to form pollen grains, to form male gametes, and the pollen grains are shed at 3 cell stage. So this is called as microgametogenesis. So the formation of two male gametes from the generative cell of the pollen grain is called microgametogenesis. This is important. Microgametogenesis is a small term included under microsporogenesis. So microgametogenesis involves the formation of two male gamete from the generative cell of the pollen grain. This is very important concept. Now I have already described the diagram. You can see the diagram, meiosis 1, meiosis 2. Then one thing, the mitosis here is the mitosis in the pollen grain to form the vegetative nucleus and generative nucleus is asymmetric. Now come to pollen grains. So pollen grains are the, you can say, immature male gametophyte, because they are not completely matured, because in some plant they are being shed at two cell stage, they have to undergo mitosis to form two male gametes. That's why they are immature male gametophyte. They are spherical in outline and they are having two layer, exine and tin. We have already discussed. It is outer layer is of sporopollenin. You can see the diagram, exine and tin. You can see outer layer is of sporopollenin, inner layer is of cellulose and pectin. Then what happens? The exine is absent at some space, that space is called germ pore, and this helps in respiration of pollen grain. Okay, then what happens? The vegetative cell is larger and abundant food reserve. As I have told, asymmetric mitotic division is taking place. That's why cell are not same in size. That's why vegetative cell is larger with abundant food and large irregularly shaped nucleus. This, you can see, this is the large nucleus, and the generative cell is a spindle shaped cell. You can see this is the generative cell, this is the generative cell, this is spindle shaped cell, and it is with small nucleus. Okay, and the cell is small, the nucleus is also small, and it floats in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. The vegetative cell has the sole function to provide nourishment to the developing generative cell, and it also provides nutrients when it grows as a pollen tube. When the pollen grain grows as a pollen tube. Now what are the some bad effects here, means the harmful effect of pollen grain? Some of the pollen grain, like for the Parthenium, what happens? They causes several allergy, asthma, bronchitis, and they are harmful for some person who are having allergic response towards them. And the one importance is that is commercial importance. What happens? They are rich in nutrients. They are released by flowers, they are rich in nutrients, and they are consumed by athletes, they are consumed by race horses to improve the performance of the athlete or the race horses. Then come to structure of pollen grain. Structure of pollen grain, what happen? Structure of pollen grain, you can see there is a callose layer. This is microspores, the microspore tetrad, because there are 4 microspores present. Then in gradually it is dividing, you can see the vacuoles. Okay, then the asymmetric spindle formation you can see to form a large vegetative cell and small generative cell. You can see the generative cell wall also in the diagram. Okay, so gradually microspore tetrad you can see. Then each microspore tetrad have ability to give rise to 4 pollen grain. This is important. And the microsporocyte or pollen mother cell divided by meiosis, and after the microspores are formed, they always divide by mitosis. Now come to megasporogenesis, that is process of generation of female gametophyte. Formation of mature female gametophyte inside the ovule is called megasporogenesis. And megaspore mother cell, this is a large cell in the nucellar region or in the nucellus. As you know, nucellus is the cell inside the ovule that is with reserve food material. So one or sometimes some of the cells gain the ability to form into microspore mother cell, and they are large cell with dense cytoplasm, prominent nuclei in the nucellar region. So these are the peculiar characteristics of the megaspore mother cell, that is with the dense cytoplasm, that is with prominent nucleus, all of this. Then it undergoes meiosis. It undergoes meiosis 1 to form microspore dyad, and it undergoes meiosis 2 to form megaspore tetrad. So megaspore dyad, megaspore tetrad. So a megaspore, as like microspore, is divided by meiosis, and after, so that's why the megaspore mother cell are diploid in nature, and the megaspore dyad, megaspore tetrad cells are haploid in nature. It undergoes meiosis and forms a cluster of 4 haploid cells called as megaspore tetrad, and from which 3 degenerate. 3 cells will degenerate only to provide more reserve food material to the one existing megaspore. Okay, and only one become functional. Then depending upon which megaspore become functional, there are variety of female gametophyte development, but these things are beyond the scope of discussion at present level. Now megagametogenesis. So after the megaspore being formed, whole process that leads to formation of mature female gametophyte is called megagametogenesis. That is, the functional megaspore is the first cell of female gametophyte. Then what? Because this is haploid, this is female gametophyte. Then it enlarges and it enlarges to form the female gametophyte, that is the embryo sac. So what are the division associated? We will see. First of all, the megaspore always divided by mitosis. It is forming 2 nucleus and that move to opposite pole. We will see the diagram. Here you can see the 2 nucleus, they are moving to opposite poles. Then what happens? Gradually it will also divide. Then the 2 nucleus again divide 2 times, forming 2 cells, then 4 cells. So 8 nucleate structure is formed. Okay, mitosis, 2 nuclei to opposite poles form 2 nucleate embryo sac. Then again 2 time mitosis takes place in each of the nuclei, that is at the opposite pole, to form a 8 nucleate embryo sac. And this division are special because, or specific in the sense that here the cytokinesis is not immediately followed by karyokinesis. So after reaching the 8 nucleate cell or 8 nucleate embryo sac structure, then there will be cytokinesis, that will be the formation of cell wall and cell membrane. So you can see here 2 nucleate each end, 4 nucleus, then now 8 nucleate, total 8 nuclei, 4 nucleate each end. Now what happens? The cells at the micropylar end, okay, cells at the micropylar end, this is the micropylar end, form the 3 cell group there and form 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Okay, in the labeling you can see 2 synergid and 1 egg cell. Then 2 nuclei in the center stay as polar nuclei. They will not undergo fusion, simply their nature is n plus n, you can say. Okay, and they are not undergoing fusion, that is forming the polar nuclei. And 3 nuclei at the chalazal end will form the antipodals. They gradually degenerate, okay, to provide the nourishment, to provide the reserve food. Then you can see the complete mature embryo sac here. This is the complete mature embryo sac. You can see 3 cell at the chalazal end, they are antipodal cell, and here 2 synergid cell and 1 synergid cell and 1 egg cell are at the micropylar end. And here you can see these are the finger like projection called as filiform apparatus. As you know, the pollen tube enters the embryo sac through the micropyle. The filiform apparatus guides the path of pollen tube to enter into the embryo sac, and such that they can fuse with the egg and the polar nucleus. Okay, so here this is a 7-celled 8 nuclear structure. What are the 7 cell? 2 synergid, 1 egg cell, 1 central cell and 3 antipodal cell, and they are having 8 nuclei, 3 antipodal nuclei, 2 polar nuclei, 2 nuclei in the synergid and 1 nuclei in the egg cell. So this is called as 7-celled 8 nucleate structure, and this is important, very very important from your exam point of view. Now megagametogenesis. So the cell wall formation occurs at 8 nucleate stage and forms the typical female gametophyte. Okay, that is the embryo sac. 3 cell at micropylar end form the egg apparatus, 2 synergid and 1 egg cell, that is collectively called as egg apparatus. I have already discussed this. Then 3 cell at chalazal end form the antipodal cell, and the remaining 2 nuclei move to the center of the embryo sac, forming the central cell and forms the polar nucleus. There are 2 nucleus, they are not fused. This is important, remember. And that's why this is called a 7-celled 8 nucleate embryo sac. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I will soon upload the next part of the video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.